Abba Yahuwah, I just want to praise and thank you, my Father. I thank you for this day. I thank you for the hour that we found ourselves in. I thank you for the season that we are in. And as the whole world has entered into this time of this new Gregorian calendar of 2023, wow, how much you have in store for your people in this time and in this year and in this season. And truly we are in a time now where we need to be a sheep that need to hear your voice, so that a voice of a stranger we will not follow. And Father, I just want to thank you that truly you brought us the light so that we would not be in darkness. But you used the darkness and the light because you created creation. And creation gives us both darkness and light. And you are perfect. And everything that you do is perfect. Yet there will be those that want to follow only a sun calendar because they say that we are not children of the darkness. No, we are children of the light. But you reveal yourself even through the darkness. And the darkness has to be there. If we do not have the darkness, we cannot see the light. Because eventually the light shines out of the darkness. And so the darkness brings us into a place of where we cannot see. But I thank you, Abba Yahuwah, that for all those that are still darkened in their spirit man, maybe they might have received Yahushua, but yet the spirit is still darkened because the spirit needs to be made alive to you. And so if the spirit is still in darkness, then we will be led astray. And so I thank you, Abba Yahuwah, that you are going to reveal yourself tonight through this 10th plague, through the 9th plague, through the 10th plague, to show us who you are. Man must stand back and be in silence. When the darkness comes, it brings us into silence to understand who you are and what you do. Creation will stand in awe of you, and man will know. Just like when Yahushua hung at the stake, and when he gave up his spirit, there was a time of darkness. And in that time of darkness, they said, surely this man was a righteous man. He was the Son of the living Yah. And so there will come a time when great darkness will be upon the earth. Well, when mankind will be silenced once and for all to understand that you are the great I am. And out of that darkness there will come a great light. And Yahushua, you will reveal yourself. And all man will see you when you come. All eyes will see you. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. I thank you, Abba Yahuwah, that you alone come and expose every lie that is within us, so that we may have your light. I thank you for what you are about to reveal tonight. I thank you for your word. I thank you that your word comes to set the captives free. I thank you that there was light in the camp of the Israelites, so those who have you need not walk in the dense darkness of the destruction of this earth, but they may be able to be those that will arise and shine. They will not be part of the darkness, but they will carry the light wherever they go. Help us, my Father, to be those that carry your light. Help us to be light bearers. Help us to expose the lies of the enemy. And help us to be those who carry your truth so that we may be light bearers. I praise and I thank you, Father, for this word. May you come, open our spiritual eyes, open our spiritual ears, that we will shama and that we will shamar, and that we will be those that will be willing to obey your word. I praise and I thank you for everything that you are revealing through these plagues. What a blessing, my Father. What a blessing this has been. You alone are worthy to be exalted and praised. I thank you that I am just a vessel. May I just be a mouthpiece tonight to bring forth your word for the glory and the honor of your name. I praise and I thank you for this in Yeshua's name. Amen. Praise Abba Yahuwah. So we are looking at chapter 10. As last time we were together, it's been a little while, but the last time we were together, we were discussing, we came to the end of the 8th plague, looking at the god of Seth. And we had a look at the fact that man is wanting to have their way. And man wants to change the things of the heavens. Man wants to make their own commands. Man wants to do their own thing. And as we came to the 8th plague, where Father came to be able to bring this plague that came, that was the one that was coming up against the god Seth, which is the god of storms and disasters and chaos and war, Isis. And this is when we see that these locusts came, and that these locusts came to be able to bring destruction upon the last things that was still the last bit of the vegetation. And if we look and see what we are doing now, in what we have done with the creation that Father has given us, we have brought such destruction. We want to bring about chemtrails, we want to bring about our own natural disasters through the things that man is so busy with. And now the last thing that man is busy with is man wants to become like Yah in creating life, creating their own hybrid beings. And we're no longer wanting to be able to allow Abba Yahuwah to be the creator. We have told him that we do not want his commands. We have literally torn up his commands a few months ago on Mount Sinai, counterfeit Mount Sinai, because there's always a counterfeit of everything, and said, this is what we will take charge of. And we want to now be the custodians of this earth with our own set of rules. And that is why now we will get to a 9th plague. And so the 9th plague is the darkness before the destruction. It's the darkness that's going to come before it's all going to be said and done. Before we're going to get to the end of everything, there is going to be the darkness. So we are going to read from Exodus chapter 10, and we're going to read from verses 21, and it says, "And Yahuwah said to Moshe, stretch out your hand towards the heavens, and let there be darkness over the land of Mitzrayim, even a darkness which is felt." So understand, it's not just a darkness that you see, but it's a darkness that you feel. Now this is what is being experienced upon the earth, because right now it's like every prophetic person that I speak to, they say, I can't tell you. It's not that we can see a darkness, but we feel in the spirit something is on the horizon. So many times, prophetic people, it's just not what they see, but it's what they feel in the spirit. This great darkness in the spirit. And so he turns around and he says that, "And let there be darkness over the land of Mitzrayim, even a darkness which is felt." So they are going to feel it in their flesh man. This is not just going to be a darkness that's going to be seen, but a darkness that is going to be felt in the core of the soul of their being. They are going to have to understand this darkness is already going to prepare them for the morning that they're going to go into. They just don't know it. They are already going into a thick darkness that is going to prepare them for the last plague, because they don't understand that the last plague is going to bring a rift in the core of their being like they don't even begin to understand. Because in every home there would be a firstborn child. Maybe a mother, maybe a father, maybe a child. Maybe a grandmother, maybe a grandfather that was going to die. That was a firstborn child. So they are already preparing. So it's almost like, this is why I'm saying, a darkness that is felt. This is why I'm saying, many times the prophets would feel the darkness that was on the horizon. And that brings them into the urgency of the message. It's like I was speaking to a prophet friend of mine the one time, and she said, I don't know. I speak these messages, and then it's like I'm speaking them, but the people don't really listen because nothing has happened. Maybe I should rather not speak anything when he shows me something. I said, my sister, if you don't speak with fervency, if you don't speak with that fire that is within you, with the urgency that has been put within you at the time that you receive it, then people are not going to listen anyway. If I'm going to have to stand before people and say, oh, you know what, in 2 years' time, this is actually what's going to happen, and it's like a nice little, sweet little message, why would the people want to listen? Because if it's only going to happen in 2 years' time, that's why the Father is not giving us timing. He doesn't always give the prophet timing. When the prophet delivers a message, it's as if it's going to happen right now. When Noah was giving the message of that, the fact that the rain was going to come, it was as if it was going to happen right now. Every single prophet, when they bring the message, it's as if it's going to happen right now. Because that is how it gets delivered to them. It gets delivered to them with an urgency to understand that this is now. It looks like it's going to happen now. And if that wasn't given to them with that urgency, then there wouldn't be an urgency in the delivering of the message. And if there's no urgency in the delivering of the message, then the Father hasn't taken time to warn and warn and warn and warn and warn, so that the people will not just have something come upon them without them having been warned. Because the Father is so gracious and so merciful and so kind that He warns people way in advance before anything happens. For how many? More than 100 years, could have been more, that Noah was telling them that the rain was coming and that they needed to prepare. But did the people take it serious? No, they did not. No, they did not take it serious. And this is the thing. But when it does come to pass, that was the scripture that he gave me last week from Ezekiel chapter 33, from verse 30. That it says, many will come to want to hear the word of the Father. And they will come and they will speak and they'll say, wow, what a powerful word that was. They will hear what you say, but they will not do what you say. And they will come and they will want to hear the word, but they will not do what the word says. But there will come a day when they will know that a prophet was in their midst. There came the day when they were all drowning outside Noah's ark, that they would have known that Noah was speaking by the mouth of the Father. And so there will come a day that we will soon understand the difference between the lie and the truth. Those who truly spoke by the word of the Father and those who did not. There's going to be a distinction between them. Because this is what we're going to look at today in terms of the darkness and the light and the understanding. So we continue to read, and it says in verse 22, and Moshe stretched out his hand towards the heavens, and there was thick darkness in the land of Mitzrayim for 3 days. Thick darkness. Now when I went and looked at that word thick, interesting, it's the word thick. But it says thick darkness. I didn't look up the word darkness, I've looked up the word thick. And that word thick is the word darkness, gloominess, calamity, wickedness, very dark. So we must understand, when the Father is saying, great darkness is upon us, great darkness is coming upon us, then He's saying, gloominess, calamity, wickedness, very dark. And so it was interesting because from 2021 that the Father spoke to me at Passover, from Passover 2021, when the Father really started saying, you're entering into a new dispensation and there's great darkness that's going to start coming upon the people of the earth. And so I don't always understand the things that He shows and the things that He says, but now you see it's calamity, it's wickedness, it's gloominess. So there is a time of great darkness that comes before the great destruction. Abba will remove His light. And when Abba removes His light before the destruction comes. So understand, Abba is about to reveal to the whole of, Abba Yahuwah is about to reveal to the whole of Egypt who He is by removing their light. And they will see who He is. And so if we continue to read, then in verse 23 it says, and they did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. For 3 days, while all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So you see, very soon there will be a distinction between those that are His and those that are not. Those that are in His camp and those that are not in His camp. Those that will follow Him and those that will not follow Him. Because there is going to be a great falling away. And like He gave me in the prophetic word, there are many that think they are first that are going to be last. And those that are last will end up being first. And so we must understand that there is a great separation that has started taking place even amongst the elect. That's why it says even the elect will be deceived if possible. So there will be a great deception that will come upon the elect. Because if they do not guard their hearts, there's going to be a falling away. Because darkness will come in. You must understand there's either darkness or there's either light. You cannot have the darkness. When the light comes in, darkness has to be removed. Because even if you shine the lightest, even if you say put a match in a room, immediately there's a light that starts to be able to show what the place looks like around you so that you can move. Just a little bit of light exposes the darkness. It will expose the darkness. So it says, and the Pharaoh called to Moshe and said, go serve Yahuwah, only leave your flocks and your herds behind. Let your little ones go with you too. But Moshe said, you yourself are to provide us with slaughterings and ascending offerings to prepare for Yahuwah our Lua. And our livestock are to go with us too. Not a hoof is to be left behind, for we have to take some of them to serve Yahuwah our Lua, and we ourselves do not know with what we are to serve Yahuwah until we come there. However, Yahuwah strengthened the heart of the Pharaoh, and he would not let them go. So there wasn't even a case of saying, oh, go, 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 like he's always been saying. No. He said to them, okay, go, but leave your animals. When Moses turns around and says, we will go with everything, he says, no, then you will not go. Now, he tells them, you will not go. And Pharaoh said to him, get away from me. Watch yourself and see my face no more. For in the day you see my face, you die. And Moshe said, you have spoken rightly. Never again do I see your face. Wow. So here is something going to come. Why? Because now, with this plague, what is this plague? So the 9th plague is the plague that is coming against Pharaoh himself. Why? Because you see, Pharaoh was seen as the God he was seen as the God of Egypt, and he was seen as Ra. Now Ra was the sun god. Ra is their sun god. This is the God that they worshipped, because they worshipped the God of the sun. And he was seen as Ra himself. So this 9th plague is when the light of the Pharaoh is going to be removed. So this is when Abba was going to strip the Pharaoh of his light and show all Egypt that their God and their Pharaoh has no light and has no power. And that everything that this Pharaoh stood for before the people, that was like a god, the god Ra, they saw him as Ra himself, the God of the light, the God of the sun. He was their God that they worshipped. And now, on the 9th plague, the Father is going to remove the light. And this is what the Father is going to do in these last days. All those that have stolen the limelight from the Father, He's going to remove their light. The lampstand is going to be removed. All those that have not humbled and repented and bowed their knee, and all the false things out there will be exposed into the light, because he will bring it into the darkness. Father will remove the light. He will remove the light from those that will continue to want to be arrogant, filled with pride, and they want to stand and think that they are Yahuwah themselves. But he will expose everything that is being done in darkness. It will be exposed into the light. And he is going to bring the darkness so that there will be no light that will shine on those who up until now were able to carry the light. And there will be a great distinction between those that are his from those that are not, because he will expose the hearts of man, just like he exposed the heart of the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's heart was wicked. And that is why it wasn't just that the father hardened his heart. The father handed him over to his own wicked heart. The father is going to hand people over to their own wicked desires. They only worshipped him for what he could do for them. They didn't truly worship him because they truly loved him. They worshipped him because he gave them finances. He gave them a power, prestige, everything that he was giving them. And now he's going to remove the carpet out from underneath these people, and they will be exposed for who they are. But now the light is going to shine on the camp of those who truly have bowed their knee and who truly have humbled themselves and want to seek after Abba Yahuwah. Because understand, pride will come before a fall. If we do not wear the cloak of humility, in our weaknesses, we are to stand before Father in our weaknesses. We are to understand that we are weak in our flesh nature. And we are to humble ourselves constantly, understanding that we have not arrived, and that we are weak, and that we are in need of him. The more you surrender to him, the more humble you become. The more trials and the tests that you go through, the better it is for you, because the more he humbles you, and the more you realize that the areas in your life where you still need to change. But for those that have been praying these things away and that have never learned to overcome them, they are going to be found lacking in the day ahead of when they're going to need to stand. They are going to be found lacking. So if we go look at Revelation chapter 16 verses 10. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. And it says, "And the fifth messenger poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and his reign became darkened, and they gnawed their tongues from pain." So understand, the darkness is going to be brought upon the kingdom of the throne of the beast. Just like here, the Father was going to remove the light, his light of his creation. We've had 7 days of creation. We've had 8 plagues where he was going to reveal to him, I am the creator of both the heavens and the earth. You think that you can have the sunshine over you. The sunshine is part of my creation. I created creation in 7 days. The sun is mine. I will not shine my sun over you. I will not shine my luminaries over you. There will be no sun, there will be no moon, there will be no stars, there will be nothing of my creation that I created to give you light. There will be nothing on you. For you to understand, the only light that will shine on you is the light that I give you. If I don't give you light, you have no light of your own to shine. If only mankind could get that revelation. The only light that they can shine is the light that has been given to them by the breath that has been put in them by the Creator of heaven and earth himself. And yet we pride ourselves thinking that we are some kind of gods. And therefore, we use our mouth to bring destruction. We use our bodies for destruction. And we do not understand that the very breath that we got in our bodies has been given to us by Abba Yah himself. And this is what is going to reveal to them. I will remove the light from you, that not only will you not have the sun that is going to shine on you, nor will you have my moon, nor will you have my stars. You will be in the greatest darkness, that you will feel the darkness on you. And beloveds of the King, this is what is coming. Remember, this is what is going to come before Yeshua comes. And so you must understand, before the plague of when he's about to bring the death of the firstborn, there is a great darkness that's coming upon the earth that people do not even begin to understand. Because there is going to be the removal of where the sun will not give its light, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the heavens, and these are the things that are going to come. And then there will be great darkness, like has not yet seen. It will be the darkness that was in 3 days in the time of Egypt. And so if we have a look at Revelation chapter 9, and we read from verse 1. Interesting, now that was the 5th messenger with the bowls of the wrath, and this is now the 5th messenger with the sounding of the trumpet. And I saw the 5th messenger sounded, and I saw a star from the heavens which had fallen to the earth, and the key to the pit of the deep was given to him. And he opened the pit of the deep, and smoke went up out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun was darkened, also the air, because of the smoke of the pit. And out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and authority was given to them as the scorpions of the earth possessing authority. And it was said to them that they shall not harm the grass. So we read all of this. And now look and see. And they have tails like scorpions, verse 10. And they have tails like scorpions and stings. And their tails is their authority to harm men 5 months. So could it be that there is going to be darkness on the earth for 5 months with this whole pit that has been made open? So if we go look at Matthew chapter 24, so let's just go to Matthew chapter 24, and I mean this is repeated in many scriptures. If we go to, we will see that all the scriptures where this has been spoken, and it says in Matthew chapter 24 from verses 28, for wherever the dead body is, there the vultures shall be gathered together. Verse 29. Matthew chapter 24 verse 29. And immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds of the heaven, the power and much esteem. I've always wondered, how is it that all eyes are going to see him? How is it that all these people are going to be able to see him when he comes? Well, if you think about it, if the whole world is in darkness, the sun doesn't give its light, the moon doesn't give its light, the stars are not giving its light. When Yeshua comes as the perfect light, he lights up everything, and then there's light on the earth, as if the sun has risen, and all eyes will see because of the light that has come into the heavenly realm as the King of Kings, the one who comes with perfect light. And so I have often wondered, how is all eyes going to see him all simultaneously at the same time? Imagine, everywhere around the nations of the world, everywhere, darkness, 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 darkness. And here he comes as the light, the one who's going to shine his light. Of course, all eyes are going to see him because they have not seen light. They have been in utter darkness. And so this is what the Father is doing with these Egyptians. He's removing the light that he has given them. They have had the grace to have his creation being given to them for the 7 days of creation that he has given them. Everything that is put on creation, he has tested them in everything to do, as we've looked at this, as these, every one of these plagues and taken it back to the days of creation. And now on the 9th plague, we go back to what he gave them on the 4th day, which is when he separated them. He put them in Goshen. And what was the 4th day of creation was when he created the sun, moon, and the stars. And it was on the 4th plague that he separated them into Goshen. And now he's showing them that in Goshen there will be light, because my hand is upon them, my hand of protection, because they are my light bearers. They have been set apart. They will have the sun, the moon, and the stars on them. But for the rest of Egypt, you will not have my illuminaries shining on you. I will show you such a darkness that it will be so dense over you that you can't even see your hand in front of you. And you will feel the death and the darkness all around you, because it is coming. And that is what the Father is revealing. And so if we look at Luke chapter 23, let's go look at Luke chapter 23. If we look at Luke chapter 23 from verses 44, it says, "And it was now about the 6th hour, and darkness came over all the land until the 9th hour." So for 3 hours, from the 6th hour until the 9th hour, a darkness came. So this was 3 days, this is 3 hours, and Yeshua was in the grave 3 days, 3 nights. Because he is the Son of Righteousness that will arise with healing in his wings. And he's the one that is going to bring the light. And so it says, "And it was now about the 6th hour, darkness came over the land until the 9th hour, and the sun was darkened, and the veil of the dwelling place was torn in two. And crying out with a loud voice, Yahushua said, 'Father, into your hands I commit my spirit.' And having said this, he breathed his last." And so darkness came into the earth for 3 hours. The earth was standing still. And the captain, seeing what took place, praised Allah, saying, "Truly this man was righteous." So all man will stand in awe, just like all of Egypt is going to stand in awe to understand not their Pharaoh, is God, not Ra, the God of the sun that they worship, all their sun god worship, all these gods that they've worshipped have all been dealt with, because this is the last God that he is dealing with. He's dealing with Ra, and therefore he's dealing with Pharaoh himself. He's going to remove the light from Pharaoh to say, no longer will you stand as a God before these people, nor will you be a God over my people, because they are mine, and I will show you that they are mine. Who do you think you are? And the Father is going to show himself strong. And then all, just like, the captain, seeing what took place, praised Allua, saying, truly this man was righteous. So you see, and then it says, and when all the crowds who had gathered to that sight saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. And all those who knew him and the woman followed him from Galilee stood at a distance watching those. But Yah was the captain, saying, surely this man was a righteous man. So Father will bring the whole earth. So once again, before the coming of Yeshua, there's going to be a darkness where all the heavens will be darkened, where there's going to be no sun, no moon, no stars giving the light. You want to be able to say that you want to tear up my commands of my creation and say that you are now the rulers and the custodians and those that are going to subdue the earth by being the ones that want to be able to be in power over the earth that I created and I gave commands. You will be in utter darkness. I will remove my light from you. I will remove my sun, my moon, my stars from you. You will be in such darkness that you will feel the darkness upon you before he comes to slay you all for the destruction of what you have done to my planet Earth. And this is what we must understand. The Father is not going to sit and take lightly to what these people that stand arrogantly before him, because these are people that stand arrogantly before him. And so in John chapter, let's go look at John chapter 8 verses 12. In John chapter 8 verses 12. John chapter 8 verses 12 says, and therefore Yeshua spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness, but possesses the light of life. So you see, if we are not in him, and if we do not follow him, meaning, please take note what it says over there. It says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness. So it's not he who believes in me. He who follows me. Meaning, he who follows me will have to pick up their stake, deny themselves, follow him, which means they do what he does. They are about what he is. They keep the commands that he did. They follow him in everything that he did. They will do. No servant is greater than his master. They will die for the sake of being obedient to their master. So they are to follow him. Understand, he doesn't say, for all who believe in me. He didn't say for all who believe in me. He says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness, but possess the light of life. So if we do not follow him and follow his example, we will not have the light of the life. We will be in darkness. So many believe in him, but many do not follow him. Because we need to deny ourselves. We need to pick up our stake and we need to follow him. And those are his true disciples. And those are the ones that he is going to raise up in these last hours. So there are many that believe in him. There are many that say, oh no, I am one of his disciples. But they do not follow him. Are we prepared to follow him unto death? Are we prepared to follow him? Are we prepared to follow him even if it means that we should have to die to follow him? Are we prepared to do that? Because it says, the one who is going to follow, who follows me. And this is so interesting because, you see, we need to see these words in the Bible. It's not just one who believes in me, but one who follows me. He's making a distinction between a group of people, yeah. They are the ones that will have my light. They're not just those that are going to sit and go to church and say, well, I believe in him, and, live like the world the rest of the time. Or don't do what he does. Because now is crunch time. And now that is why the Father is raising up a people in this hour now that are going to need to be able to speak truth. Even if it means it's going to cost their lives, they're going to need to speak truth. Because it is enough of the distraction and the destruction that is upon the earth. And that is why the Father is now separating between the sheep and the sheep. Because many worship him with their lips, but at the end of the day their hearts are far from him because they're not willing to crucify the flesh. The flesh man needs to be crucified. Because we will all have a stake. We will all have a cross in our lives. And we will all need to deny ourselves and to follow in his footsteps, because he said no servant is greater than his master. If I had to go through it, so will you. So if we look and see in 1 Peter chapter 3, let's go to 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 18 to 20, and it says, so let us just read from verse 15. But set apart Yahuwah Elohim in your hearts, and always be ready to give an answer to everyone asking you a reason concerning the expectation that is in you, with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, so that when they speak against you as doers of evil, those who falsely accuse your good behavior in Messiah shall be ashamed. So the day is coming that when even those that want to speak up against you, they speak up against you without any cause, without any reason, but they speak up against you. Understand, the Father will be able to, if they are falsely accusing you, they will be ashamed because of the good behavior of that which you have done. For it is better, if it is the desire of Elohim to suffer for doing good than for doing evil. So you see, if we have to be persecuted and we suffer because we've done good, well then, you know what, to the Yahuwah be all the glory, because we are called to be persecuted for his name's sake. Because even Messiah once suffered for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to Elohim, having been put to death indeed in the flesh, but made alive in the spirit. So you see, we have to put to death our flesh so that we can be alive in the spirit, in which also he went and proclaimed unto the spirits in prison, who were disobedient at one time, when the patience of Elohim waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is 8 beings, were saved through water. So you see, Father is not going to take lightly to disobedient children. Disobedient children, disobedience did not get them on the ark. Only obedient children got them onto the ark. That's why the Father said, where was Noah's brothers and sisters? They were of the righteous seed, but they became disobedient and joined the forces with the children of darkness. And so he says, who were disobedient at one time, when the patience of Elohim waited in the days of Noah. So you see, they were disobedient. So are we being disobedient to what the word says? While the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is 8 beings, were saved through water, which figure now also saves us immersion, not a putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience towards Allah through the resurrection of Messiah Yahushua. So you see, he went and dealt with those, in those 3 days, he went to be able to go and preach the word to those people that were bound, those that was from before the flood. It must have been those angels that were bound. Now, if you look at Ephesians chapter 4, let's go look at Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 8 and 10, and it says, that is why it says, when he went up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. But what does he went up mean, except that he also went down into the lower parts of the earth? He who went down is also the one who went up far above all the heavens to fill all. So praise Abba. He dealt with that which is under the earth, and he dealt with that which is above the earth. Psalm 97. Psalm 97 verses 2 to 6 says, let's read from verse 1. Yahuwah shall reign, the earth rejoice, many isles are glad. Clouds and darkness all around him. Righteousness and right ruling are the foundation of his throne. Fire goes before him and burns up his adversaries round about. His lightning shall light the world. The earth shall see and tremble. The mountains shall melt like wax before the face of Yahuwah, before the face of the Master of all the earth. The heavens shall declare his righteousness, and all the people shall see his esteem. So do you see? He is the one that's clouds and darkness all around him, because he's the one who created the darkness and he's the one who created the light. And clouds of darkness and light and fire all around him, because he's righteous and he's just. Righteousness goes before him. Righteousness. He has to rule righteously. And this is the thing that the Father dealt with me this weekend, where Abba really had me go speak to someone, where if there is a case against us, and the Father has to judge righteously, do we stand righteous before the Father? Remember, the Father is not going to take your side over someone else's side because you feel that, he's got to take your side because the person is acting not right. If there is a case and it has to come before the heavens, Father judges that case righteously. And if you are not walking right before the Father, then if there's an open door, the enemy has legal ground on you. And so understand something. The Father can only judge righteously in our favor if we walk righteous before him. If we do not walk righteous before him, then he judges righteously. Then there's an open door, and then the enemy will come against us. But if we walk righteous before him, then even our enemies will be at peace with us. It says in Proverbs 16 verses 8. This was the scripture that the Father has given me, I don't know how many times in a few days. He kept giving me Proverbs 16 verses 8. Let me read it. No, Proverbs. Oh, now let me just go back to my journal. Sorry. It's 16 verses. Is it 5? No, that's every pride of man. So all I know is that the Father has been speaking to me about this very issue of even if you walk righteous before the Father, even your enemies will be at peace with you. But we need to be able to make sure that we walk righteous before the Father, because if we do not walk righteous before the Father, He is not able to fight the case on our behalf. And so at the end of the day, the Father is wanting us to be able to come into that place that He wants to expose everything that's being done in darkness must be exposed into the light. And that is why we need to come before the Father and say, Father, show me what it is that is within me that is not righteous before you. Because whatever it is that is not righteous before you must be exposed into the light, so that the enemy has nothing on me. The enemy must have nothing on me at all, because if the enemy has something on me, Proverbs 16, verse 7, when a man's ways please Yahuwah, He makes even his enemies be at peace with him. When a man's ways please Yahuwah, He makes even his enemies be at peace with him. And it says, better is a little with righteousness than a large income without right ruling. A man's heart plans his ways, but Yahuwah establishes his steps. And so that is why the Father is speaking now. And He's saying, we need to walk righteous before Him. Because He can only judge your case in the heavens if you walk righteous before Him. Your ways need to be right before Him. So, Deuteronomy 4. Let's have a look at Deuteronomy 4, verses 10 and 14. And it says, the day when you stood before Yahuwah, your Lord, in Horeb, Yahuwah said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on earth, and teach them to their children. And you come near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yahuwah spoke to you. Out of the midst of the fire you heard a voice of the words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And He made known to you His covenant, which He commanded you to do, the 10 words, and He wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yahuwah commanded me at the time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you do them in the land which you pass over to possess. So He appeared to them in thick darkness, heaven's darkness. It says, and the mountains burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. So this is how He will reveal Himself, even through thick darkness. And then if we have a look at Deuteronomy chapter 5, seeing as though we are right here, we have been looking at these commands. And so we're just going to read through the commands so that we understand, because we're coming to the end of these 10 plagues, and everything about these 10 plagues has been dealing with the commandments at the same time as dealing with the creation. I've only started to do the commands from the 6th command. Hopefully when we get to Exodus, then we will be able to tie in the other commands that we did not look at. But if we look and see, when He turns around and He says from verse 7, and it says, you have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make yourselves a carved image, any likeness of what is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. And so He speaks from the beginning in Deuteronomy chapter 5, and He says, hear, O Israel, the laws and the right rulings which I speak to your hearing today, and you shall learn them and God to do them. Yahuwah, or your Lord, have made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yahuwah did not make the covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. Yahuwah spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. And he says, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, from verse 6, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness of what is in the heavens above, or what is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah your Elohim, am a jealous owl, visiting the crookedness of your fathers upon the children to the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave any unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Sabbath day, to set it apart. Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah your Elohim. You do not do any work. Your son, your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant or your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to perform the Sabbath day. Respect your father and your mother, and Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. So now, we are at the place, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. So, we have a look and we see in Isaiah chapter 45. So, if we go to Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 8, because we're going to look at this 9th command. Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 to 8. And it says, I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. There is no owl besides me. I gird you, though you have not known me, so that they know from the rising of the sun to its setting that there is none but me. I am Yahuwah, and there's none else. So understand, what is he doing? He's removing the sun. From the rising of the sun till its setting, there is no other Yah but me. So I have removed the sun for you to understand that you will have darkness and great darkness, because I am the one that rises the sun. I am the one that makes the sun set. I am the one that puts the moon in the heavens. I am the one that puts the stars in the heavens. I am the one that has placed all of this there. I am the one from the rising of the sun till its setting. I am Yahuwah, and that there is no one else but me. You have not known me. So he says, I am Yahuwah, and there's none else. There is no owl besides me. I gird you, though you have not known me, so that they know from the rising of the sun to its setting that there is none but me. I am Yahuwah, and there's none else. Forming light and creating darkness, making peace and creating evil. I am Yahuwah, do all these. There you go. Creating darkness, making peace, and creating evil. Wow. Now we will turn around and say, oh, well, that can't be. No, I always say to people, remember one thing. The devil is only a pawn in the Father's hand. The devil is a created being. The devil is a created being. He has only as much authority as the Father will release it to him. Do you remember Job? Do you remember Job? The Father said, you can do whatever you want to him, just don't touch his life. Let us not forget. We need to read his word in context. But we put him in a box that is not who he is. And then we want to paint a picture, and that is why the people have a warped a vision of who Yahuwah is, because of the fact that we don't keep him in the context of this word. He created the darkness. He created the light. You don't go do your own calendar and say that now I have a calendar that's only with the sun because I don't want the moon, because at the end of the day, we are children of light and not children of darkness. He created the light. He created the darkness. He created the sun. He created the moon. He created the stars. He created it all. And when he represents himself, he presents himself in darkness and in light. And this is what we must understand. So if we look at 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 6. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 4, verse 6. It says, for Elua, who said, let light shine out of darkness, is the one who has shone in the hearts for the enlightening of the knowledge of the glory of the esteem of Elua in the face of Yahushua Messiah. So he is the one who said, let light shine out of darkness. Yahushua came as the Spirit of truth in the darkness. He is the light of the world, and he's the one that we follow. So now, if we look at the 9th command, what does the 9th command say? The 9th command says, you shall not lie. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not lie. You shall not have any lie within you. So therefore, you shall not lie. The truth of the light of the word comes into the darkness and lights up the way of darkness and exposes the lies into the light. He came to expose all the lies. The lies keep us in darkness. So the more lies we have in us, the more darkness we have in us. And that's why there's many that do not shine the light. Because the more light comes in us, the more truth comes in us, the more light we have. Because Yeshua is the one who's given us his Ruach. And the Ruach is the spirit of truth. So there is no lies. So in this plague, he's dealing with the 9th command, you shall not lie. Because it was the lie that came into the Garden of Eden. And the lie brought in the deception that brought in the fall of man. But Yeshua has come as the light of the world to expose the darkness so that we are no longer in the lie, but that we walk according to the truth. So at the end of the day, we only have as much light as the truth that shines forth from us. The more truth, the more light we shine. So brothers and sisters, what light do you want? The more you allow him to expose the darkness of the lie within you, we see we live and we walk with lies in our mind, and the devil lies constantly to us, and this is the lie of this, and therefore we will walk in darkness because of the lies that we have believed. You see, they all believed that he was the God. He was their God. And Ra, the God of the sun. But he came to expose the lie. And he exposed that Pharaoh is no God. He is a created being, and the breath will be taken out of him at any moment when the Father chooses to remove the breath from his life. And he showed, you will have darkness because I am the one who created everything in the heavens. And on the 4th plague, and on the 4th day of creation, I put sun, moon, and stars in the heavens, which is my calendar, my way of doing things. And I separated my people. My people will have my light, because I will expose all the lies and they will come into the light. And they will walk in the light. Because we are to have truth in us. But people allow themselves to listen to lies, the lies of the enemy, and then they take up the lies upon their lips. And then they come up against their neighbor with the lies that the enemy speaks in their ears. And then they want to breed the lies. And it's the lies that bring us into darkness. Because if we believe the lie, we will be in darkness. For all those that believe the lie, Abba Yahuwah is going to send upon them a spirit of delusion because they believed the lie. And the spirit of delusion brings them into the darkness, and they will receive the destruction. That's what it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Oh man, the Father brings his message. He brings it all together. This is just showing me now. So listen to what he says. The coming of the lawless one, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 9, the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan with all power, signs and wonders of falsehood, of lies, and with all deceit of unrighteousness, and those perishing because they did not receive the love of the truth. You see, the light is the spirit of truth, in order for them to be saved. And for this reason, Allah sends them the working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood, for them to believe the lie. And then that brings them into this thick darkness that will surround them. When the lie comes in, the light is dim, and you believe the lie, and you are in thick darkness, because then you open yourself up to destruction. So let us be the children of the light. So we close off with Isaiah chapter 60. Let us close off with Isaiah chapter 60 that says, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Yahuwah, the esteem of Yahuwah has risen upon you. Look, for darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness the peoples, but Yahuwah arises over you with his esteem is seen upon you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the nations shall come to your light, and sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see all of them gathered. They have come to you. Your sons come from afar, and your daughters are supported on the side. Then you shall see and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell, for the wealth of the sea is turned to you, the riches of the nations come to you. So praise Abba Yahuwah. They will see the light, because there's no more lies. There's no more lies. We are to get rid of the lies. Thou shalt not give false witness. Thou shalt not give any lie. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not believe any lie. Thou shalt not believe any false witness. Thou shalt not believe any false witness. Thou shalt believe the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Amen. The more truth in you, the more light in you, the more light in you, the less we are in darkness, the more of Yeshua's light is within us. Let us pray. Abba Yahuwah, I praise and I thank you, my Father, for this lesson. Forgive us, my Father. Forgive us for where we are so quick to believe the lies of the enemy. The enemy lies. He lies in our ear. He tells us that you are not there. He tells us that you are not going to help us. He tells us that we are not worthy. He tells us that we are so not worthy of anything. He brings shame. He brings confusion. He brings distraction. He gets us to get offended. All these things that the enemy does in our lives. and we believe the lies. We believe the pain, we believe the rejection, we believe all the lies that the enemy conjures up in our mind. And when is the day that we are going to stand up and say, shut up already now. Shut up and get behind me, Hasatan. Shut your mouth. I will not listen to your lies anymore. I believe the word, I believe what my Father's word says, and everything within me that is in darkness, I pray that Abba Yahuwah expose it into the light so that I may walk humbly before Him with a heart that is being made whole and pure. And whatever is there that is still in darkness, I pray tonight, Abba Yahuwah, expose that fragmented heart into the light, where the enemy still holds us captive in so many different ways. Expose everything into the light of the truth of your word, so that your light may shine, and so that it will no longer be in darkness, but that your light will come and shine, exposing the darkness, so that we may be a light that will shine bright for many others that will come around us. Thank you, Abba Yahuwah, for your light of Yahushua HaMashiach, the light of the world, the one that has come to shine bright, and we look forward to your coming, when all eyes will see you, all knees will bow, all tongues will confess that you are the great I am. We look forward to that day, that you are the King of Kings, that you are the Master over all masters. I praise and I thank you for this in Yahushua's name. Amen.